Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode, Red Flags. Apologies, we're coming super late to you this week. We'll try to be better, honestly, bro. Let's
Yeah,
try to be better.
definitely.
But yeah, this week is it's gonna be a little bit shorter. Like it's not been an active week in football, where we talk a lot about, but we have other things to fill this segment. So yeah, Shay, what do we have to start off with?
Yeah, you said it, right? Break from club football. Not much has really happened in the past week. But today we got some breaking news. Thank God, because I watched the first England game, and I really don't know what Lee was on about with that lineup. So people say he's a double agent. I mean, he's Irish. Ireland is in the same group. Maybe that's what he was thinking. Who knows? But yes, England will be appointing um, the German Thomas Tuchel to be their manager, as confirmed by Fabrizio and other English journalists. Said Fabrizio said it can be unveiled this week as the contracts are already being prepared. So I guess that's all wrapped up. What do you think about it? Any thoughts?
I mean, it's not my dream signing for England because wow, I am technically British. Wow, wow.
I mean,
Just
like, it's your
I'm just
country,
fucking
your passport.
I'm just fucking I'm fully blooded Nigerian, bro. Like we carry the passport to get to Europe and all these other places, but you know what's flowing through our blood. Anyhow,
Green and me.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But the thing that is just sad is like I really thought that this was an opportunity for England to really get Pep as been in the mix for leaving Man City towards the end of this season. And obviously, like he's someone who has understood the English game, who's brought up a lot of English talent that is succeeding right now for England. He'll be, to me, he would have been like the perfect fit for the future of football, what they wanted. And it would also be a good fit for him in the sense that he's won so much in the football, in the club side of football. And a lot of people always say, like, he doesn't rank as like one of the greatest because he doesn't have that experience in the international level. So I thought it would have been a good opportunity for him to one showcase what he has as talent and also to yeah help England bring home what they've been saying, bring home whatever.
I mean, like, fair enough, but Tuchel is available. Pep isn't. Like, Pep is not going to leave City.
I'm not writing off Toko, but the thing I'm saying is that England had the ability to wait and make a decision like almost after the English Premier League had finished because I mean, there's no major competition that's on the horizon. Yes, maybe there are
Yeah.
qualifiers and things like that that they need to sort of position themselves, but realistically, they could have hired like a serious interim and then gone to get somebody. But again, they've signed a big name. Toko will do well. I don't know if he's the type of coach that can actually go win.
He's a
I
cup
think
guy. I mean, he has, like, his track record really at club level. Like, he has done well in, like, cup competitions, right? So might translate to the international stage. Who knows? I'm just happy because, like, at least maybe Rashford gets back into the team now after his
I mean,
mid
again,
time.
I'm not holding my breath on this being like a revelation for England in terms of how they're going to play and their style of play. Like, I think that's also one of Tuchel's thing that maybe makes him make sense for international. He's pragmatic and he plays like just to win rather than playing a style of football. But with
Yeah.
all the talent that they have, like you would want to see a coach that could unlock it and do creative things and make international ball like really exciting. Like for me, like international ball, it's nice because you have the passion behind supporting your nation, but it's actually not good football. It's really never ever good football.
Yeah.
So that was my whole take on Pep. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Yeah, I think we can move on now to college
Yeah,
football. Yeah, so
crazy weekend.
week seven of college football. Hmm. Hmm.
I actually got to watch a couple of these games, so it was
Yeah.
really good weekend in football. Like for background, so college football was what actually got me into American football altogether. I started watching it in high school when I moved to the school in the States, and I watched it all through college. I went to Syracuse, which was a big football sports school overall. So really got into it. Like for me, it was always that building up to who are going to make it to the NFL, see them before they break out into the NFL. And yeah, there were a lot of like great players that were on display.
Seems like
Um,
they actually like translate to the next level.
yeah. I mean, you see, basically, it's like I mean, soccer when you see like youth players developing and then they break it into the first team. That's what sort of college football is, but on a bigger scale. So the Alabama South Carolina game was really entertaining. I mean, poor going for Alabama, but it was really exciting to see, the back and forth.
Yeah.
I think the Oregon Ohio State game was also really good. Uh, just solid quarterback play from both sides. Great defense. Just, I mean, really competitive. Like you can see both games, like they literally went down to the wire. This isn't soccer where you have 1 point kind of situation, 7 points so for them to be so close. Like it was a really tough
Yeah.
game for both teams. Mm.
Yeah.
What else? Did,
I
did you
agree.
watch any other game?
I watched the Alabama game, and honestly, I'm not very impressed. Like, I know they won. Excuse me. So they won the game, and they're now 5-1. But honestly, like, they were leading 14-0 at some point, and in the last 2-3 minutes of the first half, they gave up 12 points and went in at halftime 14-12. And I mean, like, next thing, come out second half and they concede again, touchdown. They are losing 19-14. And yes, um, they came back, but if it wasn't for the recovery of like a botched onside kick, right? Like, I don't think like so they botched an onside kick, like, and the um South Carolina guy threw an interception, and that was how the game ended. Like, if that guy didn't throw that interception, like, they really could have scored, and like
Yeah, lost the
that would have
game.
been it, like, four and
No, that
two. Like,
that, that
hmm,
onside kick was crazy. It was actually so
I don't
crazy
know.
because that literally just shot it at the at the guy and
Like, I
it
didn't
just
I didn't
bounced
think
off.
I didn't think losing Nick Saban was going to have like this kind of an impact immediately on like the way the team is, but I don't know. Like, I feel like the standards have really like just drastically gone down. Like,
They lost a couple of players. Like I think there was a safety that went to Ohio State, sophomore that is starting right there. And again, I mean, we're going to talk little bit about this later on, but
yeah,
I just
definitely.
wanted to call out that, the Ohio State Oregon game, there was like a really interesting dynamic. So Oregon has been a up and coming team like for like the past I'd say for much of my time watching college football, like that, they would be on my screen behind. If not, I fell off in terms of college football. But they were the team I always watched. They had this coach called Chip Kelly, who was like crazy, like offensive genius, um, super like pacey, like style of play. Like they never used to like huddle or like every single play they would just go again and again and again, and that's how they won. But funny enough, he was the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. And the guy who was the head coach for Ohio State used to be his own offensive coordinator when he was in the NFL, coaching for the San Francisco 49ers. So it's funny, like him at a higher level was his Oga, but the roles are reversed and he's now offensive coordinator. And it was just really good. Like you could see how he was trying to make them play fast and his overall like um footballing philosophy was being imprinted on Ohio State against his former team where he made his name and everything. So that was a very interesting dynamic to watch.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it didn't work out. So Oregon with the win.
I saw a bit of the Georgia game. Carson Beck, yeah, really good game. Really good game for Carson Beck. 459 yards, three touchdowns. Like that's a big deal. One of the Heisman guys as well. Uh, we'll see how that conversation develops through the season. Your boy, the Boise State guy, Ashton Jeanty, scored a touchdown for Boise State against Hawaii. Easy game for them, obviously.
Almost
And my
200
boss,
plus yards.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's currently on track to match what's his name's record, Barry Sanders, right?
Sanders.
So
Yeah,
we'll see how that one goes as well. My boys lost.
it was
Quite
inevitable.
unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. Like,
There goes
quite,
your playoff chances.
quite unfortunate. Like, I mean, he really could have swung either way, right? But I think uh they gave up too many points than they should have. And yes, Travis Hunter getting injured did help because it's a big part of the offense and defense. But no excuses really.
So, like I said, we talked about this, and I've been telling him that I don't think this Hunter guy is like an elite wide receiver. I think he's a good, he can be an elite cornerback, but he cannot be a top wide receiver in the league. And my thing about
That's
it
the
was
league.
not
That's the league.
my thing about it was never about his ability to catch the ball, run with the ball, and things like that. It's more like how he's built. The guy is like a very lanky, skinny guy that is super athletic, super like crazy stamina and everything. But when you're trying to play wide receiver, like you're getting hit by big men, you're having to take a pounding and things like that. So he's not doesn't have that body type. So I just always thought that that was going to be his limitation, and it's shown because he's gotten hurt again playing offense. He doesn't get hurt playing defense because yeah, you do get hurt playing defense. Like you can hit somebody and you get hurt, but just in essence, like the physiques of cornerbacks are usually slender, slimmer players and like a little bit more fragile compared to other players in the league. Might
Fair
just be
enough.
time for him to focus. Yeah, apologies for that interruption. But yeah, like we're talking a little bit about like college football and just highlighting again the scores. I just wanted to point out like again, the a lot of these games were really close. Your Bama was 2 points, your LSU Ole Miss 3 points, Oregon, Ohio State 1 point. Even the Buffs game was pretty close. And this just highlights something that has been changing a lot in the whole NCAA in terms of teams being more competitive. Like during the time when I was watching it, there were clear cuts, number one and number two, and then you had your three and four who are going to make it into the playoffs, but those guys were like a cut below um those top ranked teams. And again, yeah, we have to attribute a lot of this balancing between the NIL because players are being incentivized to move to different places, not just to start and potentially make it into the NFL, but to get cash like right away. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely switched up the game. What do you think about it so far? Is it positive? Is it negative, Shay?
Yeah, for sure. For me, like it's a very positive move. Um, I feel like players are the heart of like everything that happens in college football, and the schools make a shit ton of money, right? Players don't get any of that money. Like there's no revenue sharing yet, but at least like based on like name, image, and likeness, the players can sign deals with like different companies and get sponsors and stuff like that, earn some money before they make it to the pro level. If they make it to the pro level, because really and
True.
truly, it's not guaranteed, right? So this is probably all the money some people are going to make from sports in their life. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like there are a lot of like old college football players, like a lot of these guys that hold records. Some of them never actually made it to the league because they got so used up in college football. I mean, college, unlike the NBA, where you can go in the NBA after 1 year, you can go and declare and enter the league, cash out kind of situation. College, you have to play a minimum of 3 years. So there's a lot of burnouts, injuries, a lot of like situations where you can dip in form and things like that. So I think it's definitely an equilibrium. And your team, the Buffs, have definitely, risen to from nowhere to being known
Yeah.
as a team based on
All
that.
cause of NIL, man. An
The
unranked team.
highest paid
Someone like
player
Shador never would have joined them, to be fair.
highest paid player in the whole of college football plays for the Buffs. I mean, he's also done a lot to bring that notoriety to the team and fame, celebrities and things like that. But there's like a balance between you being that kind of player and I'm just there's so many older players that Reggie Bush, those kind of guys that your Johnny Manziel, those like Johnny Manziel, like he went to the NFL but crashed out. Realistically, his college career
Hmm.
was way bigger than his NFL career. Could have made so much more money. So it's definitely a great thing and equilibrium for competitiveness. We'll see it play out in the new expanded NCAA championship model that they're doing, playoff that they're doing at the end of the
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
to be good.
Yeah. So I think we're done with college ball, and it's a good time to pivot to the NBA. Right. So we made a list of 5 teams to watch closely this season in the NBA. So I was talking to a friend of mine that is actually trying to get into like watching um, the NBA more, and he was thinking of who, like, what team should I support? What team should I support? Right. So maybe if he watches this, listens to us, like he might pick up a thing or two and probably choose one of the teams that we suggest. So yeah, I'll let Yimika start.
Yeah, yeah.
Let-
I mean, just to answer a little bit to your friend's query in terms of like getting into NBA, I would definitely say like just watch the big games. Like every Wednesday, or Friday, Saturday, they usually have, and Sunday, they usually have good matchups. And they're usually like two top teams like playing against each other. Like the NBA has 82 games. Like there are going to be a lot of games that you don't need to watch. It's just more or less getting that understanding of how people are tracking in terms of their trends. So if you pull up the list, we can just talk through some of those
yeah,
teams I think you should watch out. So obviously, like the Knicks, and we called out them last week when we talked about the big deals they've made. They're definitely geared up to be a contender in terms of a deep playoff run. They always had Jalen Brunson, who is their main playmaker. They've added Carl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges. Re-signed Ogunobi. So I mean, they're well structured, deep, and they should be able to make a deep run. Um, so let's see. That's the team definitely to keep up for. The Memphis Grizzlies, like they were one of these big teams, like 2, 3 years ago, like really
yeah.
accelerated their growth. Um, and unfortunately, their main man, Ja Morant, has been out for much of last season. And prior to that season, he had a little bit of niggles injury. So there's been a lot of dip in
I think
form.
even
Even
last season, after he came back from his suspension, he had injuries. Right?
yeah, it wasn't even an injury, it was suspension that his own issue was.
Yeah, but he had
Desmond
an injury
Bain,
last season after he came back.
his wing, he's like his number two, his Robin shooter. He hasn't really been playing well.
Yeah, I
Jared
think it
Jackson
was
has
20 plus a game last season. Desmond Bain.
yeah, but I mean it's more about his shooting efficiency. As a 3-point shooter, he's actually dipped a little bit. So he's taking a little bit more shots because obviously Ja wasn't there, but he's always been like a very high efficient shooter. That was why he complemented Ja so well. So maybe he can take less shots, less ball in his hands, and be able to be more impactful for the game. Jared Jackson, he's a defensive guy, but he also needs to step up on offense. So I think the Memphis Grizzlies are primed to do well, but they just definitely have to gel as a team, and they've made some previous trades to improve their defense. So hopefully all that works out together.
Yeah, like what's his name? Marcus Smart. Yeah, Marcus Smart.
Yeah,
He
Smart.
was
They also have
defensive player of the year 2022.
Dylan Brooks, who literally everybody hates, but he's also good defensively. But yeah, I mean,
I think they have depth as well, sure.
Yeah, I mean, they have a couple of guys there, but to be honest, these three guys need to take their game. Ja just needs to play as he was playing, which was almost MVP level. Desmond Bain needs to get up on that second level where he was literally like a marksman, sharpshooter. And Jared Jackson is the one that needs to take the huge leap because, he's been up and coming for a couple of years and hasn't really come yet.
It has not come. Never come. Anyway, so before we move on, are they getting 50 minutes this season?
Um, I mean that West Coast is definitely deep. It's definitely tough to do that. I definitely think there are a couple more teams that are in front of them. So I would say no, but that doesn't stop them from making a deep playoff run. We saw that last season. The teams that are snuck in were the ones that were actually quite dangerous when they got to the playoffs. So it's not really about it's about catching form at the right time, is what I would say.
Fair enough. Okay, so the
Yeah.
Bucks.
The Bucks, high hopes, low performance. Um, I mean, Giannis is definitely like to me the best player in the league at this point in time. Like, yeah,
Really?
Luka is there, but in terms of like if you want to build a team, like I'm going to start with Giannis. I'm going to start with Giannis because I know there's nobody going to be able to guard him.
Please
Um,
throw your red flags in the comments, guys. Is Yanis the best player in the league?
there's
Yimika
there's
said he thinks so.
there's
Please
no arguing There's not even I think so.
challenge that take, guys.
It's well known. I mean, a lot of people are going to pick Luka to win MVP, but I definitely think Giannis is still the best player in the league. Um, Damian Lillard, he came off strong to start. Actually, no, he was wobbly to start. Then he had a good time where he was playing well. In the playoffs, he also had a good run until he got hurt. Giannis also got hurt. So they need to just stay healthy. They need to build rapport. A two-man pick and roll game with Lillard and Giannis is unstoppable because Lillard can shoot from anywhere. Giannis can take two steps and he's at the rim. So those two guys just need to form that chemistry. And Chris Middleton, on the corner, hitting them threes is what they just need to sort of set up as a good rotation. And Doc, he has a lot to prove. So I think this is a good situation for them to.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I was going to say that yes, they have ballers, all well and good, but Doc Rivers, for me, he has to show that he can close when like the pressure is on. Like if the last preseason game I watched, the Lakers against the Bucks, right, is anything to go by. These guys blew a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's
he's
preseason, so I'm not reading too much into it, right? But the
I'm
evidence
saying
there.
Doc is considered like a Hall of Fame coach, but realistically, other than his time with the Celtics, he's had a lot of potentially maybe kind of situation. Like with the Clippers, they never really made it to the final or anything significant like that. He's just hopped around from different teams based off that reputation. So I would say realistically, if he doesn't get them to the final in his tenure, he would sort of now start looking like a has been kind of coach where he probably wouldn't get another major coaching opportunity. So he has a lot riding on it. And Giannis, I mean, the Milwaukee, we know that if Giannis is not going to no final, he's definitely going to leave. So these are things Lillard wants out. Like if you could trade him right now, he would take it. So these are things that they have to worry about. And yeah, we'll see how they manage.
Right. Um. So
Yeah,
okay.
you've already seen our last team, but OKC, they were actually kind of like the disappointment for last season. Like played really well. I think they finished first in the West by beating like the Nuggets by half a game. Um, SGA was pretty solid, but was showcasing that him by himself wasn't good enough to sort of carry the team. Jalen Williams, even though he had a really good season overall, he didn't really perform too well in the playoffs. Pet Holgrams was sort of like a no-show realistically. They've made some switch up. They've gotten rid of Grady, who was like a liability in defense. They went to get Alex Caruso, DN3,
Yeah, I think that's a
veteran.
good acquisition for them. To be fair.
I mean,
Yep.
I get it. I get it. And they need to start capitalizing on the potential that they have, which is why you get rid of Gritty and you bring someone like Caruso who's proven. But I still feel Gritty has a high ceiling. So for me, if I'm playing 2K mode, like I would never do that trade. But in real
Sounds like
life,
okay, it's not real life.
I can understand why you do it. And they've also gotten the Harnstein from the Knicks. He signed with them, the center that allows Holmgren to play more power forward, which I think would be better for him. He doesn't have to bank too much down low, and he can use his playmaking skills a little bit more. Jalen Williams also moved to the three. He can play four, so it gives them flexibility in a new dimension. Yeah, we'll just see what they do. Like they have a lot of potential, but they need to. They have a lot of 3-point shooters. Joe, um, Wiggins, like a lot of guys that they're deep, but they just need to actually evolve and sort of mature to move to deeper rounds in the playoffs.
Right.
And then our last team, like you already saw, 76ers, like they've been again a lot of similar to the Memphis, where they've been coming. In fact, Milwaukee, same thing, they've been almost there. One more player, trust the process. Like, yeah, Maxi has turned up to be a superstar. They've gotten Paul
Yeah.
George. They need to keep Embiid
There's an asterisk
healthy.
on Paul George, by the way.
Yeah, he
He got
hyperextension
injured.
of knee.
Yeah.
You
He got
know Paul
injured.
George. I mean, it's crazy. Signing Paul George makes sense, but signing Paul George doesn't make sense knowing that you have Embiid because both of those guys are two injury
Bro.
prone players. It's like,
Embiid, Embiid literally came out and said a couple of days ago, right? Or I don't know, I saw it a couple of days ago, right? That he can't play back to back anymore. He doesn't plan to.
no, that's fine, and that's fine. I mean, I saw that post too, and I know a lot of
At
people
least
threw.
he knows himself.
No, because again, in the playoffs, you're not going to play back to back. And realistically, your position in a very weakened Eastern Conference is relatively not as important. Like the Heat showcased that when they finished, they went from the playing tournament and went all the way to the Eastern Conference final. Like you can you can outgun the top ranked people. It's just making sure that again you are on form at the right time.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think now we can look at potential breakout stars for this coming season. We'll start with Derek Lively.
Yeah, he was definitely somebody who played pretty well in the playoffs. Seen a couple of highlights where the guy is actually handling the ball from um his own half of the court to the other half, dribbling, spinning, dunking. He's a really good defensive player, so he definitely adds that security that Dallas needs from anchoring point of view. We don't need him to do any of that actually like playmaking. You know, you got your Luka, you got your Kyrie, but if he can be someone who you can do a lot of offensive plays with and he's still adding more intensity to his defense, he's going to potentially break out this season.
Fair
Um,
fair enough. Oh, and by the way, these names are not in any particular order, right? So it's not like a top five. It's just
yeah. These are just players that we think, they're in the right situation. They have supporting cast and they've showcased like consistent development that I mean, they might not be all stars. Like all-star situation is very much somebody gets hurt,
I
somebody gets
I
injured.
actually expect if I expect at least four of them to be all stars this season. I
No,
expect.
I think that's so high. I would say the list, based
Just
on
be
this list, maybe two would be all stars. And
we'll
these
see
are
the
really
list.
good
We'll
players.
see the list.
Jalen Williams, again, like I said, played really well throughout the season. I feel like he needs to establish himself as the true number two in OKC. He showed flashes of that where he's three, his defense, but he just needs to be someone that can consistently get a bucket. And I think he's definitely improved on his game and added more versatility to what he can do offensively. Defense wise, he's locked down. No worries about that. But on his offense, I think he just needs to be someone that they can throw the ball to and consistently get a bucket.
Yeah. OKC's biggest problem will be the like depth of like the West, right? Like I think that's going to be the biggest obstacle, and obviously keeping that guys fit too.
Yeah.
Wemby,
So yeah, this is definitely a guy that's going to be an all-star. Like I can already
you
call
don't think
this one.
Jalen Williams? You don't think Jalen Williams is going to be an All-Star? I think it's
I
going to be.
cannot say
Personally,
definitely. I can say
personally,
he has the potential, but definitely is not like
about
I'm not
people bet now. You have to be giving them hope. Like,
okay.
give them what to bet on.
You
Give them
can
what
put
to
money on
bet
Jalen
on.
Williams, but trust and believe the West, because of his position as a forward, small guard, as a power forward. They group them as forward, small forward, power forward. Like you already have your LeBron, you have your KD. Like those guys are locks. um,
When
there are a couple of people that
injuries
are
happen.
already locks in there, so it's just hard for him to make it. Actually, no. Your Paul George has moved to the East. That opens his slot. Your Kawhi Leonard is out hurt. Probably isn't going to play much. So maybe. I mean, if the odds are stacked against him, you can put 20 on it or $5 on it.
Yeah.
Um, but Wemby, like the odds are definitely going to be terrible for you. He's got Chris Paul. Chris Paul has this stat where basically every single team he's joined, their win percentage has increased by I think like 5%.
Yep.
Um, bro is just going to be throwing alleys to this guy. Wemby has actually gotten jacked up. I wish we even had that picture showing before and after where they're like saying he needs to get drug tested. Because when he came into the league super skinny,
Yeah.
now he's added muscle. Oh my God, like and this the summer he just had with the Olympics where he basically carried France to the final. Like, come on, this guy's you can even call him an all-star at this point in time. I'm even shocked that he didn't make was like first not first rookie, one of the only rookies to make a all-star appearance. So he's definitely going to be that guy. Yeah, top 10 player already.
For sure.
OG
OG
and a newbie. Yeah, I
Anunoby.
mean, sorry, correct me, help me. Part of
Good
this
boy.
Knicks, I think that they've obviously done a lot to retool their team. He was one of the guys that they got paid well. Um, a lot of people said he got paid more than his value is, but I think he's going to be able to showcase.
Oh, he will definitely show it. He will definitely show it. I
But
think he
but
will.
not even just because of the money, because they've added other pieces to him. Your Malik Bridges takes a little bit of that defensive
Yeah.
pressure off him, but again, he adds that versatility. Like you can play a lineup where he's like power forward, or maybe he's center, and Michael Bridges,
Mika Bridges.
Makai Bridges is like power forward. Like they can interchange between like three positions between themselves. Both of them can be point forwards where they handle the ball. So there's a lot that they can do between themselves, and I feel like he's going to have that ability to take himself to the next level where he's a potential all-star. Like the Knicks could have four all-stars. Brunson, Towns, him, and Bridges, like easily, if they're all on point. But again, I've been saying the same thing over and over. They have to be hitting form at the right time.
I think last year it was injuries that sort of curtailed their season. Right.
Yeah, towards the end, and even Randall that they traded away. So they've retooled, they're ready to go. Never been a Knicks fan, but I like the way they play ball, so it's very interesting to watch.
Don't let
Uh,
May hear you. Yeah,
Stephen A is at
the
least
guy loves the Knicks, man.
he's happy that his Knicks are relevant at this point in time.
Finally relevant. Anyway, the
And
last guy.
the last guy, like again, probably not a lot of people know much about him, but this team, I think, if they start off well and they show some type of consistency, I'm calling them a potential destination for KD if the Suns falter like they look like they have. Like Suns have no type of defensive structure within their whole squad. It's just shooters, gunslingers. The Rockets basically traded for the Suns' first round pick, future first round pick. And it's because this guy has really developed. They have another nice center who might have made this list in terms of the depth of players that they have. But Jalen Green, I think he's ready to sort of showcase that he's that guy. And yeah, we'll see what he can do. Maybe another breakout all-star. But the only
Yeah,
guy I'll
for
bet
sure.
on is for like guaranteed money is Victor.
Well, so we hope we've been able to shed some light on or highlight some things for new people who are new to the NBA to sort of look out for this coming season. Yeah.
Get you excited, get you interested in watching some games. And again, we'll continue to bring results and give you more insights on those players as they develop. Like we'll track them and let you know how they're performing. I might bring
I think
another rank.
the season ends this week and the first game should be next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how the season develops, right? Um Moving on to the NFL. Um we'll start at Thursday night football. 49ers go back to winning ways against the Seahawks. I think we messed up that visual there. Um, yeah, on the London game on Sunday, Jaguars lost 23-17 against the Bears. The Packers beat the Cardinals 34-13. Colts beat the Titans. The Texans beat stuffing out of the Patriots. Um, whew, the
I'm about to
Bucks.
say the Seahawks, like it was I saw one interesting stat basically where they are like 20 and 0
Okay,
when they've lost two games um at home. Like two games. The next game at home they always win. So they were 20 and 0. And I guess that broke the streak because they lost the game. So
but
they lost.
if you're not balling, you're not balling
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Seahawks. Like, and those guys, they might need to push that reset button.
for sure. I don't. I mean, Gino, he has. I think he has reached his best before dates.
Yeah, I mean they've been
You might need to move on from him. I don't.
since Wilson, they've been, and that's the thing I kind of find interesting. The Seahawks are one of those teams that are never afraid to push that reset button, but they hesitated. I mean, they even got rid of Pete Carroll, which was again a shock. But um, yeah, it just seems like they should be ready to reset, but they haven't done that. So yeah,
Yeah, I watched a bit of the Buccaneers and because that was Spencer Rattler's first start as a rookie in the
I
NFL.
was sending me messages
I'm
saying
a
Spencer,
fan.
Spencer,
I'm a
Spencer.
fan. After watching QB1 season 3, ah, I, I pray I pray the team improves with time so that he'll have a beautiful NFL career. If not, they should trade my boy away, please. They did not score in the second half of this game, and the Buccaneers scored and scored and scored, ultimately routing them 51-27. I mean, this was a weekend of routes, right? Maybe you want to talk about your boys. Let me not take that from you.
No, no, not really. I mean, after the bye, we won again. Thank God.
Thank God,
Um,
oh, no hot turnover for the first time in how many games?
I think the Ravens and the Washington was supposed to be like a big game, but it ended up being like anticlimactic because like
Yeah, see, let's be real, right? I think it was a big game for the Commanders. It was their Super Bowl, and I don't think the Ravens really took that game like that. To be
mm,
fair, I really don't think it was that big for the Ravens, right? Um, yeah, all the hype before the game. Jayden Daniels, is he better than Lamar?
no,
Fantastic
I
rookie
don't.
season. Let's not take that
Don't.
away from him. He's really playing well. Like even in the game, he played well, right? But I mean, Lamar passed for 323 yards on the day, rushed for another 40. Second all time most career rushing yards now. He has passed Cam Newton, like for quarterbacks. He has over 5,635. Right, he's only behind Michael Vick now, and he has about 50 games to cover that record. Right, so
Yeah, unfortunately, Vic is not going to hold out. Yeah, Vic was a Eagles great, or he revived his career in Philadelphia. So definitely big ups to Mike Vick. And yeah, just a lot of these new waves of quarterback, like he was the one to start it off. So it
yep,
would be fitting for Lamar to break it. He will obviously pay his respects and dues to the guy who paved the way. So yeah, looking forward to that when that time comes.
yeah. Just final thing on the Ravens. Um, I think I've said it on this show before that they are my pick from the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. Like I think it's just so like interesting to watch like how many weapons Lamar Jackson has on offense. Like if he's running the football, he can do it himself. But of course, King Henry is right there. Like ultimate closer so far this season. No need to talk too much about him. But like when you talk about the guys that Lamar can pass to, like Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers over 100 yards this past weekend. Likely is there. Mark Andrews is coming back to it right after his big injury last season. If they can all stay fit, um, if they can all stay fit, I really don't see anybody stopping them on their way to the
Okay,
Super Bowl.
let's pump our brakes and see what the Chiefs are gonna do. But it's
We'll
good to
see.
be
We'll see.
optimistic.
The Chiefs are 5-0. Yes, the Chiefs are 5-0. But I know that that record could have swung. Like it does. Like the way certain games went, it could have been much different, right? The Bengals game, the Ravens game was. We digress. The Steelers. Russell Wilson is back. He's officially QB2 because Justin Fields is balling. Like just like we can't. Yes, the opposition is not that great. We know, but will be unfair to the Steelers if we don't acknowledge how well they are playing and how well Justin Fields is playing so far this season. So we'll see how their season develops. Um, Falcons beat the Panthers 38-20. Thank God Burrow got the win. Bengals beat the Giants 17-7. We're not that great, but I mean they won Sunday Night Football. Um, yeah, Lions
Come back
rounded
to
the
that.
Cowboys, but we'll
Come
come
back
back
to
to that.
that. Come back to it.
Definitely, we'll definitely come back to that. Um, yeah. So the Bills breaking news reaching us today. The Bills have added Amari Cooper to their ranks. Adam Schefter tweeted about the details. The Browns receive a 2025 third round pick and a 2026 seventh round pick, while the Bills get Amari Cooper and the 2025 sixth round pick. Um, so I'll say the interesting thing about this deal is the Browns converted the final year of his 5-year deal that he signed at Dallas to signing bonus, and they essentially paid him like $19.2 million of that money, right? Which means the Bills will only be paying him $806,000 this year, fully guaranteed, and subsequently a new deal will be negotiated for subsequent seasons, I guess. Um, yeah,
But
Monday night.
no, can we go back
Okay.
though? I mean, there were two things I wanted to call out. One, definitely the signals that the Browns are tanking. They're probably going to look to get Watson off their books too, and and and
Can
and
they do that? Can they do that? Can they really do that, bro?
they'll
Like
try,
dead
they'll
cap.
try.
Look at the dead cap space numbers for
But
them.
that's again, I was going to say, like
Before,
that's where they are actually really, really showcasing that they are looking to tank because that 22 million is going to be in their like they're going to carry it for next season. So they don't
yeah,
even have like the ability to sort of go into free agency. They definitely are looking at only one thing, and that's the draft. That's where you can get cheap talent.
I
Well,
don't
we'll
know if
see.
we'll be
The,
willing to add Deshaun Watson to that, but yeah, they are definitely trying to rebuild for sure. Definitely. Um, so Monday Night Football. Hmm, I don't want to talk too much about this, but yeah, it was a pretty good watch. Right? Bills won by 3 points by a field goal, really and truly. It was a field goal. And yes, Aaron Rodgers threw an interception in the last drive. Right? If he didn't throw that interception, they would have had a chance to win the game. But I don't want to pin it all on him. Because
he pinned it on his wide receiver.
on the
Was the
previous two drives they had, right? The what's his name, Greg Zerline, the kicker, missed two field goals, right? So, I mean, if he had scored those two field goals, they would have won by a field goal, right? So, can't really put it all on him. And Tyron Smith, the left tackle, right? That they got. I don't know what entered him yesterday. Maybe he wasn't in the mood to play, but I mean, the penalties he was giving away for someone so experienced, like literally wiped away a touchdown, right? That would have helped them on their way to actually winning the game, right? The penalty, I think it was a holding call. There were a lot of penalties in the game, like almost every play yesterday there was a penalty. Like both teams were guilty of like just giving away penalties the whole game. Right? So I wouldn't I wouldn't put too much blame on Rogers, right? Even though it's
but he
very
put it on his wide receiver though.
yeah, he does that. Like it's not nice. It's not nice
So
to like throw your
so
guys under the bus. But,
moving on to the next slide that we have, he throws
I
the
mean,
bus
he
on.
complained about Mike Williams and breaking news today. Oof, he just trade for Davante Adams. The Jets will be giving up a third round third round pick, and on the condition that Adams is a first or second team All Pro, or on the active roster for AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, that third round pick becomes a second round pick. Yeah,
Again,
the
I
Raiders,
mean,
the Raiders are only getting a third round pick. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe
and
you think otherwise.
another team tanking. But the point I'm just trying to make is that this isn't going to be the decider for this Aaron Rodgers experiment working um in New York. I think realistically, his demeanor, his attitude, his drive to win, his wanting to be a leader, all that has been thrown out of the bag. Like it was there when he first signed. He was very excited, enthusiastic to come in there and show himself as I'm that guy. I'm the best
Yeah,
quarterback. Blah blah blah. But he really hasn't played well. He's been turning the ball over like crazy. and pointing finger,
which is out of
which
nature, which is
isn't him.
out of nature for him actually. The
I,
turnovers, like
yeah, the turnovers obviously because he's one of the most
he
has
protects the ball well, like his track
the
record, right? But
yes,
this
but
season it hasn't been that way.
his
Like,
his ability to like sort of lead a team is where a lot of his previous success has come from. Like wide receivers, even this Davante Adams when he was in the Green Bay Packers, he was like not really like a well recognized name. It was kind of that relationship that they built up that made him sort of a big name wide receiver. And he's done this a couple of times with different receivers, Greg Jennings before that. And I just feel like he's not keyed in to what he has because we know they have Garrett Wilson, who is one of like the best young talent wide receivers. So let's not
yeah,
play like the Jets don't have resources. Like they have them. This is not going to
they
just
do,
be
and they're
the
adding this
reason.
guy now.
Yeah, but I just don't think this is going to be the reason why they now become super competitive. They have a lot of holes, like you said. Their O line, their defense has not like as a team, they're not cohesive. They've had so much craziness in the off season through the season. Like you don't make it to the Super Bowl when there's too much new noise in your camp. You have to be quiet and just play your ball and being consistent.
Fair enough. Um, so from the numbers, he signed a 3-year, 61.84 million deal, and his salary is going to be fully assumed by the Jets. Um, Dead cap for the Raiders in 2024, 13.6 million, 25, they will pick 15.7.
So they're
I wish
tanking.
them I wish them all the best, and I hope they draft Shadow Sanders.
Yeah, wishing him definitely the best of luck.
I think that's their plan, but it,
They've never had like
rumors going
if you
around
like
that
if you like Shadar Sanders.
Miami actually want to draft the guy, or they are considering like drafting the guy.
If you like Sanders, you would pray to God that he never goes to the Raiders because the Raiders have never drafted a quarterback that has turned out good. Like they're known for that place where if you get
Oh,
drafted by the Raiders, you're more likely to.
I just said that for them, like, because like clearly that's their plan, right? Good luck to them. We don't know how that's going to go, right? So
Let's go
yeah,
onto your boys.
yeah. According to Yimika, my boys, um, how about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? Whew. Should Mike McCarthy be fired? I think I should start. What do you want to start?
Your boys, go ahead, bro.
Please don't calling them my boys. People are going to start believing that they're actually my boys.
Your
Yeah,
boy.
so the Lions beat the crap out of the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. The game ended 47-9. Interesting stats from the game. First one, the Lions had the same number of scoring drives as the Cowboys had points. The Lions had 9 scoring drives. Cowboys scored only 9 points. Dallas have been behind by 15 or more points at halftime in 4 straight home games now, starting from the loss to what you call them, Green Bay Packers in the playoffs last year. Dak Prescott, $60 million a year man, 7 turnovers in the 6 games he has played this season. CD Lamb, if you remember, held out in the offseason trying to trying to like secure a new deal. He got his money, and this season, I must say, he's not balling. He has had moments, yes, but he's not balling. Mike McCarthy, lied to the world, saying that he needed the team to run the ball more. That was how Kellen Moore got fired. And Mike McCarthy, yeah, Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator before he got fired for the Dallas Cowboys. So now the head coach, Mike McCarthy, calls the plays. And I don't even think they run the ball at all. I mean, they do, but like very, very sparsely. Like they hardly run the ball. They are always passing. And I mean, I can't really blame them. That running back room has who? Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott. Jerry Jones has come out to say he's not going to fire Mike McCarthy, that he hasn't even considered firing Mike McCarthy. He said that like right after the game on Sunday. And for me, this is not on the coach. This is not on the okay, yes. It's on the players, right? Partly because like if you watch the game, you would have seen where Detroit literally ran plays where they passed the ball to offensive linemen. Like, do you know how rude that is? Like, I mean, I've never played American football. I've not to even talk
It
about
wasn't
like
rude. It was rude in
playing
a
at this level, right?
flag.
But I know that how are you passing the ball to a 300 and something pound lineman? Like, are you guys actually
He
defending?
scored
Like,
it. He scored it, but rude
I
offensive
mean,
lineman down the
I
field.
don't, I don't think I've seen. Okay, okay. Sometimes they run trick plays where like the lineman like rules himself eligible and like, but this was just come on, come on. Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones must decide. To me, he's someone who is scared to make difficult decisions. Right? I don't think they should have paid Dak. I not that Dak doesn't deserve to be paid, right? I'm not going to say anybody deserves to be paid or doesn't deserve it, right? But the Cowboys are not at a place where they just need this guy to make the team good and start challenging for Super Bowls again. Like they need to do what the Raiders or the Browns are doing at this point. Like you need to bring guys like 47-9. You are far. Like for me, the Lions are coming out of the AFC and getting to the Super Bowl. Sorry, the NFC and getting to the Super Bowl, but that's a discussion for another day. Like the Cowboys are not at the level of the top teams right now, and they like they can't depend on the draft alone. Like they need to make moves, like trades, free agency. I don't know. Like this past off season, like they were not really doing anything in free agency, and everybody was complaining. Jerry Jones came out. We are all in. We are all in. Like a lot of the people you see playing now are people that were on the bench last season. Sorry, how like if they were that good, why were they not playing last season? They were on the bench and suddenly they are starting. What do you expect to happen? They are not good enough. They simply are not good enough, right? That's all from me. Yimika, you the floor to you, please.
There's not much to say, bro. Dallas is all hype. We're only talking about them because they're your boys.
Bro, that's
I finally
America.
should.
America needs to hear the pain. Like, how can you lose 47-9? Come on, man. Come on.
I don't know how many American fans are really caring about this, but the truth about it is, bro, like Dallas, like you said, they've overloaded themselves on two, three players, and those two, three players cannot win when they're playing over 40 players between defense and offense. So,
Exactly.
sorry, 24 players between defense and offense, or 24 starters, and obviously rotation and all of that thing. Um, it, it's it's just clear to show that the work that they put in the off field, they're yielding results right now. Like you said, a lot of drama to pay their players. dragged on, did not get ready for camp. Yes, they did well last season, but like you said, a lot of those players left. So if you wanted to use like a rebuild of your maybe not great players or the players that you're hoping to break out, you've got to get them all bedded and well sort of tested together, like build that
Exactly.
cohesion. It's the same thing the Jets are facing. If you don't build that rapport in training camp, it's not during the season when you're battling injury, battling the concentration of traveling here and there, and all that is part of the wear and tear of the season. If you don't build that rapport beforehand, yeah, it's no, there's only so much you can do, and that's what they're yielding. They're just yielding their results. And my whole take is let them and Giants compete for who is going to be on the bottom. We're looking upwards and onwards. The Commanders cannot finish top of this conference. That's my own worry.
Nah, I still pick you guys. I still pick you guys.
At
I still
least
pick you
AJ
guys.
Brown came back, showcased what he can do. A real receiver. Not flashy like this CD Lamb where he always be doing one-handed. A pure, just know what the job is. Give
Bro,
me the
why you
ball and
man?
go and score
Why
the
you hating
touchdown.
CD?
Nah, bro, because like again, like the Dallas Cowboys are like the only guy that I rated that Cowboys team. The only guy I would take any time, any day of the week is Micah Parsons because he's a purebred workaholic, ready to go and grind and do what he needs to do. Like, money's not going to change that guy. He reminds me so much of Ndamukong
I
Suh,
agree.
but on the DN side of things. This CD Lamb, these dark guys, these guys are more, they've bought house, they've bought
Bro, that
island,
just looking so fresh and fly every press conference, man.
cause guy, the money is showing on their face now. They're young boys. They need to showcase what they've worked hard for, and I respect them for their hard work. They deserve to get every single dollar, but at the same time, like please, let's call a spade a spade. These are not footballers. They are part of the whole Jerry world. It's a show. They are entertainers. The real footballers, they play for this team. Where's my hand? Yeah, this team.
Anyway, so thank you guys. I think this is our shortest show yet.
Yeah, and again,
We'll try to keep it.
apologies for the
We'll
for
try to keep it to this length actually going
yeah,
forward.
I think it's good. Just give you high level, get some more feedback on what you guys want to see next week. And again, apologies for the delay of it coming out. We'll ensure that we're consistent on bringing it to you Mondays
Yeah.
consistently. Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.
Subs,
Yeah,
subs,
if you
subs,
don't want to see
subs.
our faces, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for the
You
audio.
definitely want to see my face. I don't know about your face.
My face is not that fresh now. I can't see. I can't vex. I can't vex. Don't worry.
I'm playing, bro. We're all Yoruba demons in our own way.
Please, I'm not a demon. No. I'm not a demon. So say I'm
Well,
not a demon.
because you're a married man. How did you find wife?
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Be
Have a good
safe.
one.